Hi. So now I am continuing with Screencast-O-Matic. I mistakenly said Screencastify before. That's another website you can use that also screencasts, but this is right now Screencast-O-Matic. And as you can see, I have opted for the webcam, and that's something you can do if you choose to do it. Many teachers are using this technology now to flip their lessons, which means that students can follow lectures, hear lectures, and do other activities that they would normally do in the classroom at home, and that frees up class time for other types of activities, such as that could involve asking questions or collaborating or doing things with the knowledge and not just sitting and taking notes at that time. That could be done at home using this technology. All right, so I'm just going to show you some of the other slides. I'll try to make this quick. You'll notice that, and you could pause as students could and see that I have questions. This is all about different ideas you might find useful in the teaching of A Midsummer Night's Dream. Reading or thinking about Ovid's story, Pyramus and Thisbe, can be an important exercise before or during the play. It is the basis of Romeo and Juliet and serves an important role in A Midsummer Night's Dream, one that shows how intimately connected the two plays are. As you start the play, you definitely need to emphasize the fact that there are different groups of characters, and you might use some sort of illustration such as this to think about how they come from different realms and are different from one another. I could move this potentially, but basically what it's covering is a note on the fact that this is a frame story and that the frame of the story is the wedding of Theseus and Hippolyta. The Theseus and Hippolyta start the story, and their wedding ends the story. And I believe it's 4 nights until the wedding. So everything that happens among the lovers and also with the actors and the fairies happens within that time frame. The actors are, of course, preparing their play so that they could audition it as a potential act for the entertainment of the wedding guests. And we know that they end up being able to perform. So that's part of the finale. I like to think about yin-yang in terms of the settings. You might find this useful. The structure of A Midsummer Night's Dream is complicated, and that can be fun to explore. That can be definitely an essential question to ask them about. What is the role of setting in a story? Or something like that. Acts 1 and 5 take place in Athens, and then in between we have the woods. And you might pause if you have interest in looking at what I've written. Reading this play is what helped me learn about the different phases of the moon and how they're attached to the maiden, mother, and crone goddess figures or feminine energies or whatever you want to say. There are enough references in the play to make it worth investigating this. The play starts under the influence of the old moon, and the wedding is going to happen when the new moon comes. And so that's something you might look at further. There's so much you can ask about love in this play, and you can consider the different types of love and how people experience it. You can ask about the strength of love. And, something I've done is I give my students a survey before they read the play, and it primes them for all sorts of questions, including questions about love, which high school students tend to like to think about. Speaking of love, you can use illustrations to think about the four lovers, and you might pause if you think this is worth pausing for. I continue to change this. We know that. All right, we're a little quieter here now. Continuing to look at these slides. Besides the four lovers, it is interesting to ask about the relationships between the about-to-be married couple, royal couple, and the other married royal couple. That of Athens and that of the woods and the fairy realm. So secular power and magical, natural, perhaps spiritual power over here. Interestingly, you can have the same actors play both Hippolyta and Titania and Theseus and Oberon. You can ask these questions. I think there's a lot, if you're interested in exploring questions of gender, though I think you can read this with other types of lenses that aren't as binary as this, certainly. But there are issues of men having more power than women. The ancient Athens setting is one in which Hermia is told that she must marry the man her father chooses, and or else she will die. She's given one other option, but that's how limited women's rights are. But then, Shakespeare is tricky, and it's easy to say something such as that this play is misogynistic, or that women only suffer in the play. There are many ways to look at the play. I don't think Shakespeare is pushing us to just think in one way, and that's why this play allows students to engage naturally with thinking about big questions, because there are many answers to be found, and multiple answers could be simultaneously true. One could look at this play without considering gender and ask about strengths and weaknesses and humanity. One can look at these things in relation to gender. And then the structure of the play is so interesting. So this is just one drawing when I was thinking about the play within a play, and then it is a play about a play. So you might want to pause and look at this, and maybe this is helpful. And then this is the last slide I have. I think you can also ask about who authors the play. In other words, who controls the story. And this is, again, like a nesting story structurally in different ways, including because we're not sure structurally who is really in control of the whole story. And I would just add that in addition to these characters, one could say that perhaps the power of the play is the crone, the old moon. Perhaps it's something much different from what it appears. That's how complicated this play potentially is. So that's all I have right now.